Hi, it's Rosie from RoseByNameCo here showing you another journal. This is a mini journal. It is a 3" by 4" with 1 3/4 inch spine with a small tassel. I really didn't feel it needed much anything really, but I like tassels, so I did include a little bit of a ribbon tassel with a butterfly on it. It is a pamphlet style binding with 3 signatures and some ribbon on the bottom and fabric on top of a chipboard hardcover. And we do have some fluff on the top, which of course, as you know, I love. And on the bottom and on top, actually, I left all the sewing tails. I did sew a lot in this journal, as I normally do, because I love sewing. I didn't really sew previously to this, but now I found out that I love sewing on paper. So anyways, in the middle here there are some charms, a little key and a flower and a little pine cone and some beads as well. So there is quite a few embellishments right on the cover and inside the journal. I did find a lavender definition and dictionary, so I used that for the title and put it in a Tim Holtz hardware. I do love the way it fits into my hand, so I discovered I like mini journals. This was the first one that I made because the other ones were a little bit larger, so I did enjoy making it. The closure is just sewn in between the paper, and it is a muslin ribbon, and I do like the way it rolls back and forth. Actually looks quite nice open. If you wanted to keep it open even on a table or somewhere, it looks quite beautiful that way as well, open or closed, I guess. I did use quite a bit of ribbon and lace throughout. There are little notebooks, lots of miniature notebooks, like the first one here in this pocket, with lavender on top here as the title or the cover. And then inside I made these pages with different sizes. I actually discovered that if I vary the sizes, that they almost look a little bit like flower petals. You will see another one there further on that shows that even more. So I do have little facts about lavender and definitions and pronunciations that I put on there to some pages. And there's a botanical of lavender as well. So anything that has to do with lavender or purple, that is probably in this journal. Any shades of purple, 50 shades of purple anyways, instead of gray. But there is stamping as well throughout the book. And this flip out here, I did sew some lines on there, and I made a belly band with the fabric from the cover. And there's a little collaging. There's quite a few collages actually through the book as well. I do love making collages also, so I make tags and cards. And this is a little, I guess, folder of sorts. And I did make a print from, I believe it's from Christina's Art Designs. And there it is, a little bit more about lavender. And included are some beads with little bows on top, and a tag that is actually sewn into the signature itself with a little bit of line stamping. So it's not removable, but there is some other ones that are removable. And some flower paper and some more tags in here. One has, again, the fabric from the cover. I did spray some pages, and this is in the middle of the first signature with some beads on it, and edges are a little bit punched as well. But I did spraying with purple ink and turned out quite well. Here's a little journal tag with a little bit of a flower on it and a smiley face Brad. And another little tag. Everything is miniature, of course, to fit into these tiny pockets. I did find that I thought it might be easier to make the smaller things, but actually it takes just as long as making the bigger things. So another little collage thing there, and a little fold out for writing some notes on there with a bit of stamping, and as well some distressing. Each piece, most of them anyhow, are distressed with inks. And here's a couple more in another pocket with a little bit of an old letter there and some painting as well. And it looks like maybe forget-me-nots or something of that sort. And here's a little charm on this one. Just a little flower with some beads around it that's held with the lobster claw safety pin on there. And a little bit more beads. And the other side of that tag that is sewn right into the signature. I did find some poems, so I used verses from little poems about lavender. And this is the other side of the belly band page. That is a fabric sewn onto ribbon, and a little journaling card, which is the larger one, probably the largest in this journal, with a postage stamp on it. And I tried to find postage stamps that are in the shades of purple. There's quite a lot of them, but I found that red is more popular. Anyhow, I did sew that page with some art paper there that I painted. Another little journaling card with a flower on it. Just gets pinned in there as well. And I have some crochet wool or ribbon, or I'm not sure what it's called, crochet thread. That's holding on into each signature. Is sort of like a little marker for each signature. Some pretty design paper there as well, and most of the edges have some ribbon or lace attached to it. And here's another little picture of a lavender on top of my painted background. So there's pinks and purples and some blues and so on. I did find some Edith Holden pages that have similar colors, so I used those. They're very beautiful. Of course, she's got quite a few books with these beautiful images. And I put a little key on here, a very cute little key with some beads around it, and more and more beads. It's got quite a few pages where it's got it's completely lavender colored, either a lime paper or this paper that you see right here. Let me just fix that up a bit. Okay. And here's a little envelope. There's a few envelopes. So this one is holding little tiny pieces of paper. This one is stamped on one side and blank on the other for writing maybe just a date or highlight of the day or something just briefly. And another one too that's a little bit stamped and distressed with purple ink. So that belongs in that envelope, and it's got a stamp on it, a beautiful stamp that's also in the purple shade. Another belly band here made of fabric and ribbon. And here is one of those little notebooks I mentioned that looks like flower petals. I got quite obsessed with that, so I did make a few of them. So as you open it up, you can see the different sizes of the little tiny pages. And then when it gets opened up completely, it does have this beautiful, well, I don't know, I'm calling it like a flower almost, as I said, petals. A little flower notebook, let's call it that. I really don't know what else to call it. And we do have a couple more journaling card with a little bit of ribbon on top and a flower and another small tag that fits into this tiny pocket. Love making those tiny pockets. They're very cute. And some stampings here and there. So in the middle of the second signature, it's got a flip up. It's not a pocket. It's just a flip up to put some extra notes in there. Let's close that one as well. And here's a fabric cover to a notebook, more regular size paper here. So lots of places for journaling, and as well as lots of inserts altogether. I think about 40 inserts that I counted. Here's another belly band from Fabric and Ribbon, and a tiny journaling card and a tag. So lots of tags and cards as well, just to give you a little bit of extra space there. And this is a little notebook. It has the cover that is my own digital printing, I guess, with a little bit of that crochet thread on here, purple of course, and a little another little tiny one, and another tiny one. Lots of tiny little journaling cards for some small notes, or just to look at in those little pockets, with a butterfly on it and a ribbon that I sewn across there. And we have some more beads, and that's the other side of the Edith Holden page with that beautiful purple flower. And this is a little booklet again that folds out with a little lavender printout from Christina's Art Designs. A little bit more of the purple fabric that I found in my stash of fabrics, and just a couple of empty pages for you, and some design on the back there. Here's another a little bit larger journaling card with a stamp on it. Just gets paper clipped in there. And then I have this paper, but it feels like linen, more like linen paper. And then I sprayed it, and it just turned out really, really well, and it's really super soft and smooth. And one of those sewn pages there that I flipped through quickly, a little bit too quickly. On the third signature, I have this marble paper that I also have in some of my scrapbooks. And I did include it here because I did find one page that is very into these purple colors. So over here I have another part of a poem there, and some coffee dye paper. Everything is all the journaling cards are backed up with coffee dye paper, and there's paper as such throughout as well. And all the inserts are distressed with the Tim Holtz inks. This little pocket is, I think, organza ribbon on there, like a little bit see-through. And there is a little card there with a little piece of doily on top and some stamped lines on the back. More of the little hanging beads, and a marker for the third signature. So this one has a sewn page again with some of the different papers that I had left over. It kind of looks fine to me, I think. Actually adds some character as well. And yeah, I do have all the ribbon on top, almost like every other page or so. Here we have another fabric pocket, and a couple more, one envelope here, and a journaling card as well, or pull out. So this one has some more little pieces of paper in it. This one is in lilac lined paper that I have. Fits right in there snugly. And then fold out paper that has some fabric on it, and some of my painting, and as well stamped lines and some stamped flowers on the back. So it is distressed, everything for the aged look. A little bit grungy. It's kind of a cross, you know, between shabby and grungy. Okay, so that one goes back in here. And there is a little more of Lavender's Blue. It's a poem, I guess, very old poem, in fact. So I printed that out and put it on that page, and I painted a little bit of lavender on the side of it. And here's a couple of journaling cards. One is with collage on it, and one that I printed from the Graphics Fairy, this one here, and I painted it with this metallic paint I have. I do love it, but I am running out of it, so I'm going to have to find some more. Here's the middle of the third signature with some cutout edges there with the edge punch, and an old a little tiny piece of an old letter, and an envelope there that I took just a piece with the stamp on it and just sewn that into a little pocket. And this one is a belly band with another collaged tag, and it's just a journaling card. It does have the organza see-through on top of that marble paper. So if you open that up, you do get a little bit more of that lavender field picture. This is a very vintage piece of fabric that I have, and just made it into a notebook that you can write on. And so here on this one, I also have that little pine cone. It's very tiny but very cute pine cone charm, and beads all around it. Another notebook. This one is with some pattern paper and some yellow paper, whatever I could find really. And it does have some cutouts inside, so it's that shaker style kind of a cover. And a little bit more of the Edith Holden paper, and a little bit more of a poem. And I think we're up to the last envelope. This one has a Canada stamp on it, very pretty, with the white flower, I believe is a Trillium. And more tiny pieces of paper to write on. Well, of course, when you have a tiny piece of paper, you might need to use a tiny pen. And my daughter got this for me at a book fair. This tiny pen that would be perfect, I guess, for writing on a tiny little piece of paper. Okay, so that goes back in here. It just clips on here with a paper clip, and some more stampings, and a couple more of the forget-me-not journaling card, and fold out paper, folds out and out. Lots of fold out. Anyways, I got obsessed with those as well, and a little bit stampings on top of that. So this is the end of this journal, and I did put my card in the back and sign my name and the date that I finished it and the title, Lavender. I hope that it is enjoyed. It is sold again, so that it has already left and been packaged and so on. So I'm just going to tie that up and give it a rest. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. I'm learning a lot making these journals, really. You're just watching me discover things. I'm not experienced at that at all, but I am learning each time, and hopefully others will enjoy what I'm enjoying as well. So this is Lavender. I appreciate you coming by to take a look. And we'll see you next time. Hopefully there will be some more. I do have 2 more coming up in purple. Thank you very much for coming. Bye-bye.